So first of all, let me just say the warmest welcome to everybody to the School of Business and at the George Washington University and to GWU in general. It goes without saying that these kind of events don't happen without tremendous collaboration of many, many people and the support and work of many participants and colleagues that make this sort of thing happen. The first thing is that these things don't happen without the intellectual and the kind of provoking thought leadership of people in the community. And this is such a wonderful competition because it not only brings together people who we want to recognize as young up-and-coming entrepreneurs, but it also gives us the opportunity to recognize outstanding entrepreneurs in the community. And it gives me special and really a deeply felt pleasure to recognize Ed Barrientos as this year's recipient of Outstanding Entrepreneur. Peter's going to tell you more about Ed's professional background, but I also want to note that he's not only an alumnus of the School of Business and an active alumni leader. He plays roles at GWSB and the university's developing initiatives on entrepreneurship, and he's also on my advisory council. So it's just a very, very meaningful thing for me to be able to have him as a part of this. It's a wonderful opportunity to recognize him, but it's also a wonderful opportunity to recognize the people who really drive programs like this forward, like John Rollins, who's also on my Dean's Council, and it's just somebody who has been somebody who's had such yeoman's work and yeoman's service for the school, not only teaching in our school, but also advising me along the way as I take over the reins here. It also, of course, goes without saying that we cannot have programs like this without the support and the generous support of people who can make this sort of thing happen. And to recognize Ann and Richard Scott for the generosity that they've given us in starting this up and continuing to support it, not only financially, but also coming back to judge. I just think I can't thank you all enough. And as I said to you all last night, we cannot do things at the School of Business without that kind of general philanthropic support. So I just want to take a moment and thank you. Finally, I want to thank the other faculty who are here. We have wonderful people in the area of entrepreneurship. Our Center for Entrepreneurial Excellence is a core piece of what we do, and people like Eric Winslow, George Solomon, Kathy Fry. And it's just without these kinds of support from people in the faculty, we just wouldn't be able to make these kinds of things happen. And so again, thank you all for everything that you do for the school. Now, it's my role here to actually introduce Peter Weissman, who's a graduate of GW School of Law and a member of the GW Alumni Association Board of Directors. He's been a leader among a small group of visionary and dedicated alumni who kept a single-minded focus on entrepreneurship through the former GW Entrepreneurship Roundtable, and in the inauguration of the GW Office of Entrepreneurship, which is now operated by Jim Chung. And so it's been great working with Jim and great working with alums who have helped make that kind of thing happen. Peter's a partner in a law firm of Blank Rome, where his practice concentrates on patent litigation in the federal courts and prosecution before patent offices in the U.S. and around the world, primarily in the areas of internet, software, biomedical, information technology, RFID, technology communications, and the electrical mechanical arts. Before joining Blank Rome, he served as a patent examiner for the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. So without further ado, Peter.
Thank you, Dean Guthrie. And first off, I echo everything you've said, and it's incredible the amount of support we received on campus. But mostly, I really need to recognize the two other co-chairs of GWERT, if you will, Tej Poole and David Moore. You can't miss either of them. Tej has the turban on, and David is the taller gentleman next to him. And we have put in a lot of time and effort meeting weekly on the phone and more often to go around campus. And I have to say that the support we've received along the way has just been phenomenal, from Adrian's office to helping us with the administration to the vice president of research and development, and also to the alumni affairs. So there are too many people really to list. We've had George Solomon and Eric Winslow support us all the way. Of course, John Rollins has been instrumental and essential to everything that we've done to help bring this event to you every year. And of course, Jim Chung has just raised it to a new level. And it's just very exciting to be involved in entrepreneurship here at GW right now. It's just tremendous, the things that I know are going to happen. And I encourage all of you to stay involved with entrepreneurship on campus. One thing you can do if you'd like to reach out to us is we are on LinkedIn. So if you search GWORT, apparently there's some other language where GWORT means something. But I haven't figured out what language it is. So if somebody, and I only know that through Twitter because I searched GWORT and all this, foreign language came up. But if you searched on LinkedIn, I don't think there are too many GWORTs there. You could connect to us, and we're going to continue to roll things out with Jim's assistance. We're going to be introducing hopefully some new programs. So stay in touch with us, stay in touch with Jim's office, and you can reach out to us, and we're going to just be doing great things here. So it's my honor today, on behalf of the entirety of GWORT, to present this 4th annual award, and we titled it the GW Outstanding Entrepreneur Award. This year's recipient is Ed Barrientos, and he is a graduate has an MBA here at GW School of Business, and I think Dean Guthrie probably did him more justice than I did. And I apologize, I'm going to read from this a little bit because he has a laundry list of accomplishment. But if you connect to him on Twitter, you'll find out one thing that Adrian didn't find out, and that he's a songwriter. So I don't. So I don't know. So maybe we'll hear a little bit of that today. But Ed is CEO and chairman of the board of Brazen Careerist, a career-focused social networking site targeting Generation Y. Somehow you slipped and I was able to sign on. I'm not Generation Y, but I'm a Y wannabe, I suppose. He is also a managing partner of Zeitgeist Holding, an angel investment firm focused on investing in early-stage technology companies. From 1996 to 2005, he was president and CEO of ArcSecond, which is a high-growth market leader in the field of laser-based high-precision GPS. He led ArcSecond to a successful exit, which they acquired by Metris at the end of 2005. He sat on the board of Metris as a board of directors and worked as an active board member through the company's IPO in 2006 and its acquisition by Nikon in 2009. From 1993 to 96, Ed served as managing director of Max Schlatterer, a leading German manufacturer of products for the food, drug, and machine tool industry, which headquarters outside of Munich. From 91 to 93, he was an international marketing consultant for Management Partner, which is a boutique management consulting firm based in Stuttgart, Germany. He started his professional career with IBM in 1986, serving a number of technical and marketing-related positions. Ed holds a BS in management from Virginia Commonwealth University and an MBA from George Washington University. I'm going to continue reading this, but I have one personal thing. As a well-known serial entrepreneur and angel investor, Ed is very engaged with university students, entrepreneurship groups, and angel investment forums. He is the angel in residence at the Dingman Center for Entrepreneurship at the University of Maryland, and also sits on the board of advisors of the George Washington University School of Business. The personal note is that he is very in touch with George Washington University. He is extremely open to talking with very early stage startup students. I hope I'm not committing you to anything. And he has been, and in the words of some folks here, he has been extremely generous in his willingness to commit his time, energy, and expertise to GW, and for that, everyone is very appreciative. So please join me in congratulating Ed for his accomplishments as an outstanding entrepreneur. So I'm inviting you to the podium to receive your award. I'm a little unfamiliar with the procedure here.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Dean Guthrie. And again, there's so many people to thank. Special thank you, of course, to the GW Entrepreneurs Roundtable. I had actually prepared a small speech, but given what you just mentioned, I think I'm going to sing it. If you don't mind. No, just kidding. I was actually asked to say a few words about how my experience at GW back in the late 80s contributed to my life as an entrepreneur, and there are many things. As Peter mentioned, I do a lot of work with young entrepreneurs. I'm an angel investor, so I get to talk to a lot of entrepreneurs that have just the most incredible ideas, like the ideas you saw today. So as I was thinking about my time at GW, I thought about those things that are generally very important for entrepreneurs to keep in mind, some of the characteristics, traits that great entrepreneurs have. And I thought I'd combine them in a list of things here that I put together. So the first thing, and I think, again, you saw that today in so many cases, is that you've got to learn to sell an idea. It's very important because as an entrepreneur, that's all you do. You know, from the very beginning when you've got your idea on a napkin all the way to raising millions of dollars of venture capital. One of the classes I took when I was an MBA here in the late 80s was and I'm not sure what the actual name of the class was, but it was advertising, and it was with Dr. Linda Maddox, who I believe still teaches. Now, she must have been 16 when I was here, but it was an amazing class. I had never really understood the concept of selling an idea until I took that class. It was fantastic. We had a contest with Chevrolet. I think she still does contests here with large corporations. And to this day, I still go back and think of the things I learned and bring them back here. It's very important. So incredible experience I had there. Number two, know how to negotiate. As an entrepreneur, you're negotiating with everybody all the time, including yourself, because entrepreneurship is risky. You have to convince yourself all the time, do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? Negotiating is important. You'll be negotiating term sheets, hopefully, negotiating agreements, negotiating employee contracts, you name it. I took a class here, which, again, I'm giving you two examples of things I learned that made an incredible impression on me. And I can't remember what the name of the class was. I don't even remember the professor. But I think it was something like business negotiations. My focus area in my MBA was international business. And this class was amazing because we're in the center of it all here at GW. We had a class that was full of international students. We had people from Europe, we had people from Asia, Latin America, the Middle East, you name it. So you could imagine a class about negotiations in this kind of a context. Wow, you know, what a learning experience. As Peter mentioned, I left for Europe right after my MBA and ended up working in situations where I was continuously negotiating with very tough negotiators out there. All those lessons came back to me. They still come back to me today. And for anyone who's planning on pitching me as an angel, I will warn you, I have a reputation of being a very tough negotiator, thanks to that professor. And I'll have to get with some of the faculty here that may remember him. I don't think he's here anymore, but fantastic teacher. Number three, cash flow management. As a startup, you know, one of the key things you're told from the get-go is never run out of money. And that sounds sort of like, well, yeah, of course, why would you ever? It's very hard not to run out of money as a startup. Take it from me. The financial foundation that I got at GW, which was amazing, has definitely proven its worth over all these years. The fact that GW is not the cheapest school and that Washington is not the cheapest place to live also helped me with my budgeting skills, which again are another very important part of the startup experience. Finally, choosing your partner, co-founder, very key thing. You know, you've got to know who you're partnering with, because most likely you're going to be with this person for a very long period of time. Well, I took that to heart here at GW. I actually married my partner, who's here this evening, and was also an MBA student in that time frame. So key things to keep in mind. There are lots more, but I'll keep this brief. Finally, the one thing I wanted to say is I was lucky. I graduated in 1990. And for some of you young guys and gals here, you don't remember this probably, but that was a really important time. The wall had just come down in Germany. Everything was changing. The Cold War was basically declared won or finished, and everything seemed possible. So it was a great time to graduate. What's been interesting to me the last couple of years, even though we've had an economic downturn, it's been an amazing time for entrepreneurship. It's really been an explosion of entrepreneurship. And very specifically here. That's why I was so excited to see Jim join the university, John's work. It's been amazing to me to see what's come out of this university, especially with the young students. It's not just alumni or faculty that are doing entrepreneurial things, it's the students. I'm surprised. I get calls from freshmen or sophomores that already have companies that are running. I'm amazed by that. So again, I thank you. I thank everyone here. I thank you for the program, that this business plan competition. And I'll say one last thing. In the first business plan competition that we had, I sat as a judge. One of the companies that was in the final 8 didn't make it to the final 4. But I thought, man, that is a good idea. And I went to the young student, or the student at the time, he was an MBA student, and I said, have you thought of actually doing something with this idea? And he said, well, I wasn't sure, I'm not sure. We kicked it around, and I ended up investing in it. And we're hoping to launch that business here in May. So you never know what will happen. But again, thank you very much. And I am convinced, after looking and seeing all these presentations today, that in a couple of years, one of you entrepreneurs out there will be up here accepting this award. Thank you very much.
So just a couple final comments. Congratulations again, Ed. It's just such a wonderful thing to see. I would be remiss, though, if I didn't mention a few more things about the broader context that we're embedded in here. Because people hear business plan competition, they often think business school. But of course, we're in a university, and entrepreneurship is everywhere here. I mentioned Jim Chung in his office, and they're actually under the Vice President for Research. But we also have Dean David Dalling here, who has probably, I would even venture to say, as vibrant and, if not more so, entrepreneurial work that's going on in the School of Engineering. And so there's wonderful synergies there, but there's also just wonderful pockets throughout the university where we can see that happen. These kind of things also don't happen without our wonderful development officers here. There's a number of them in the audience, and I just want to say thank you to all of you. You all know who you are, but it's just wonderful to work with you all in helping to cultivate the relationships that deliver these things. And the final thing I should say is that these things really don't happen without the wonderful staff here at the School of Business and at GW in general. And so just thank you to everybody, and thank you again to the Scotts.